guess he had his sidekick kind of was the perfect complement.
Who was on the Undertaker's sidekick?
Yeah, Paul Bearer.
Oh,
which I didn't actually get the wordplay of until like a year ago.
Well, I'm sure, yeah. And probably as a kid, I was probably like, oh, Paul Bearer, whatever. But yeah. Now we know.
He was the hype man.
We know.
He was a real genius.
Hey, welcome.
Hey.
To Talk to the Internet number...
shit.
55? 54? 55, one of those. It's been a month since we did the last podcast. Lawrence has literally toured all of the world.
Been over every nation.
I feel like you've toured
14 days.
Gone everywhere.
Mm-hmm. It's exhausting. That's why I'm tired. Oh.
Did you come back? This is always my number one question from vacation. Tired or refreshed? How do you feel?
Mentally refreshed, but physically tired.
That makes sense. That's great.
And I almost like mentally want some negative space just to kind of process everything.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna give myself that.
That's great though.
Video games right away. Streaming, work.
We don't have to talk about video games. I want to talk about your trip.
Oh, let's do that. No. Oh, I just meant in general, like over the next week or something.
Oh, I see. Well, yeah, getting back into work, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I bet you're probably more hyped than ever because you've been gone for so long. And you've missed so many Activision Blizzard scandals.
Yeah. One every other day.
Yeah.
That's okay. I know there will be more.
Sadly, you're not wrong.
Yeah. No FOMO here.
Well, all right. Let me ask some questions here then. First of all, what was the most memorable part of your vacation? You were gone for 2 weeks, correct?
Yeah.
2 weeks in Europe mainly?
Yes. Yeah, Eastern Europe and Western Europe. So Steph was able to go to CDPR headquarters in Warsaw. Yeah. Because she'd been working there for over a year, launched a product, and never actually physically met with most of the team. Yeah. Mm-hmm, so she was basically doing some like new hire coordination type stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of getting to know her team in person. I went out for the last couple of days of that. So just mostly hung out with her and her team in those days. Great. So I didn't really see the city of Warsaw too much.
But you were in Poland.
Yeah, in Poland for a bit. And then flew to Rome for 4 days. Then Florence for 1 day. Then Venice for like 3 days.
So you were in Italy for quite a bit.
Yeah, like a week and a half. And then Berlin for the last couple of days.
Okay.
So I am a man of the world now. I know 12 languages.
I mean, you would have been before. You and I, we went to the UK at one point.
Oh, God. Sort of. I don't really consider myself as being there. I was either like working or trying to sleep the whole time.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're on work trips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But all right. Well, what was your favorite part of the vacation? Which city stood out to you the most? And you were like, I want to come back here. That's always my number one question. I think for vacations is when you go on vacation, because it's, in my opinion, it's a luxury to go to a new city somewhere, whether or not it's Europe, Australia, America, it doesn't matter. I think it's an absolute luxury. So when somebody says, I would like to go back, that's a big deal for me. So I don't know what you guys think, but...
well, I'm going to take... I understand. I understand where you're coming from because in the United States, you kind of have to earn the right to not work for a little bit.
That, yeah.
Which sucks.
Also, it costs a lot of money.
It does cost... It costs a lot of money to get... Like, booking a plane ticket costs a lot of money. Once you're in a place, compared to the United States, it's actually not that expensive to stay alive.
Yeah, that's true.
But... I mean, as a brief aside, part of what I was doing or what I got to do is talk with people who lived in Europe, and they're like they could go to public school for free, which means that when they graduate, they could just travel for a little bit and kind of see the world. And that is such a good, informative experience and provides you with so much perspective that it's kind of shitty that in the United States that is saved for when you're done with your life's work.
Yeah.
Like it's typically seen as something you only do when you're
after
retired.
Retiring, yeah.
Then you get to enjoy all the benefits of your labor, which I understand, but your labor would be so much more interesting if it were actually informed by some world traveling first.
I don't disagree.
So that's what I've been kind of thinking about. And part of that I think too is being in a lot of new places really kind of mellows me out.
It absolutely does. Yeah, that's
forces you to be in new situations, so you don't stress the small stuff as much.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Like, I may have said something weird there, but I don't have the time to care about that because now I have to figure out how to get somewhere else. So as far as places that I would go back to, it's an interesting question because all the cities I went to, like everywhere I went in Italy was pretty touristy. Rome.
But there's a reason they're touristy. It's because they have amazing places and artifacts that have been there for thousands of years that also inform a lot of Western civilization.
Oh, for Rome, yeah, of course. Everything we do comes from Rome. And actually, I could not tell you all the times that I was reading about Roman history. I was like, this is just Star Wars, man.
Yeah.
This is just fucking the prequels. That's it. Man, it's just Palpatine is just Julius Caesar.
You know that Naboo is shot in Italy, right? You know that? Did you know that?
No.
It is. Yeah, it was.
Well, there you go. It was in the code all along.
Yeah.
Damn. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely not wrong. I mean, Rome is the coolest just because it's so fucking jam packed with history. Like it's literally history tripping over history, and it's in layers. So the pre-Christ, there's a lot of history there, and then that got knocked over, and the Holy Roman Empire was built on top of that. That got knocked over, and like other civilizations were built on top of that too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty wild to see all that stuff, and Rome would probably be the city to go back to just because there's so much of it that I don't know how you could see it anymore, or how you could see it all and really wrap your head around it.
Yeah, in like a week or whatever you did. Also, the most ridiculous experience. Steph's pretty good about finding Lux packages. Yes, she is.
Yeah.
She's fantastic at it, actually.
I'm kind of like, I'm just a pile of trash, so I'll just sleep in a $20 hostel. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It does, by the way. I just never think to give myself good treatment like that. So she found this hotel that was like across the street from the Colosseum. It was actually built over the Ludus Maximus. Wait, no, I think I have the word wrong. Anyway, there's basically gladiator camp. It's where they just
Ludus,
yeah. It's where they hung out and trained and stuff.
That's their school.
Yeah. So I did some push-ups, which basically means I'm a gladiator. But we got to like see the Colosseum from our balcony at night. And since it was a really nice plush sort of room, like mini bar was open and didn't have to pay for any of that crap.
Oh, wow, that's great.
It was a super nice room.
Was it lit up?
Yeah.
The Colosseum lit up?
It was. And there's something that gets even better.
Okay.
So we were like, man, we should order some cocktails up to the room. That's great. We should do that. And we did. But then they were like, oh, we just have to inform you that you can only order cocktails up to a certain point because a private party's rented out the bar. And we were like, okay, fine.
Right, yeah.
So then we get into our room and like we go out on the balcony and the bar is just down there. It's like one floor down, completely visible and everything.
You can see it?
Yeah. So it turns out that the group that rented out a bar was like a 55th birthday party. Cool. For somebody named Fredo.
Italian, got it.
This dude knew how to fucking party.
Why, what would he do?
I mean, he had the DJ playing some sick beats, so that was already like good thing number one. Is that this DJ was spinning a sick set.
Rad.
And I was on the balcony sipping some cocktails, looking at the Coliseum. I'm like, man, life can't get any better. And then it got better.
What happened? What do you mean? How did it get better? How could it possibly get better?
A drag queen performer came out and did all the single ladies on like a one-person stage, which was sick as hell, and like doing all the dance moves and stuff, which basically heard her like giant platforms, heels stomping real hard in the middle of the song. So we were just there kind of like drunk and tipsy being like, oh,
this is amazing.
Having a private show because of Fredo's sweet birthday party. Thank you, Fredo, wherever you are. It seemed like he had a really happy birthday. There were a couple of other drag queens in attendance that Stephanie followed on Instagram because they were fabulous.
That's amazing.
So it was basically... It was one of those enchanted things that you can't really manufacture.
No, it just happens.
Yeah,
it just happens.
Although, I mean, part of the other thing is this is depressing to say, but being treated like a human being because you're spending a lot of money is a fantastic experience.
Well, I mean, yeah, it doesn't get to happen very often for normal people.
That's true. That's true. And I guess I got to enjoy the runoff of it, but part of being there was just spending an ass load of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's because we spent money, we got to have a cool experience.
That's also one thing that you, if anybody like is listening, the older you get, generally the more you're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to spend more money on this because I'm getting older. And I'm probably not going to have as much time to do these experiences. That's the thing that I start thinking about as I get older. Whereas like in my early 20s, I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's just like whatever. But that makes total sense. All right. So Rome was amazing. It sounds awesome. And I'm very jealous because I've always wanted to see all those things. I'm a huge fan.
Got to see the Sistine Chapel.
Of like all that sorts of... basically, like I said, the reason I love Rome and ancient Rome so much is because... it, again, has informed so much of our democracy and capitalism and all that other bullshit that we all talk about constantly. And Rome was really, honestly, that there wasn't, like, I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me. Historians will say it wasn't the birth of it, but it popularized it if it wasn't the birth of it. So that's why I love it. Regardless, it was cool.
I mean, it was the birth of a lot. It's either that or Egypt. And sometimes at the same time, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you know, Bruce?
No, I'm sure I did.
There was Caesar Urbanus is where the word urban comes from because he had water fountains installed into the city of Rome that are still running to this day.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I got to fill up my little water canteen a lot, which is great. It's a shame more cities don't have that. just fresh water.
No, I'm not forgetting Greece. I'm not at all forgetting Greece. Don't worry. Like I told you,
The Romans took everything from Greece anyway.
Yeah, they absolutely did. I'm a huge fan of Greek mythology.
Rome is just Greece season 2.
But yeah. But again, Rome popularized. It's one of the that's like Greek and Rome. I love it, and I would go forever and ever. And spend weeks studying and going to those places because it just looks so cool. All right. So Rome. Would you go back to Rome? You would.
Yes.
Okay. Any other places that stood out to you? Had amazing experiences like Venice?
I mean, Venice was like Disneyland.
You did the canals.
It's so ridiculous. Yeah. Everything about it is sort of curated to be a magical experience. Even when you really try to like go into the scummy back alleys, it's still like kind of magical, and all the restaurants are super nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was ridiculous. I'd go back there just because it is so much like a theme park. And still a lot of history there. Got to walk around a lot of, it's just churches. Just churches, wall-to-wall churches.
Catholicism took over that area.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Took over pretty much everything.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
Let's see. I mean, Florence was cool. I didn't get to see very much of it. I was only there for one evening, but I did have the Florentine Steak, which basically means they just slam a giant pile of red meat onto a plate. Oh, it's so crazy. And it like had some crazy like fat cut on it, so that when they pan seared it, it's basically like a pork rind on the edge.
Okay.
It was so good.
That sounds amazing. As I knew it would. I've heard rumors that Venice is actually getting, because of climate change, the water's rising.
Yeah, that was why we went, because it may not be around for our lifetime.
That's what I'd heard. Which blows my mind. And I wasn't sure if you saw that or if people mentioned that or they talked about it at all. It was just sort of like, whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't really discussed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the kind of the resident vibe of Venice it kind of reminded me of New Orleans, that it's like, this is a city that God has forsaken because of natural causes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, New Orleans is even worse. It's a swamp. It's beset by plague and viruses and stuff. Venice just has the misfortune of being on the water. So yeah, it may not be around for too much longer, or they'll figure out some ingenious solution to keep everything going. Battle Right is correct. The water's not just rising, but the entire city is also sinking. So it's a double problem. There were some buildings that were like not quite at the right angle. Yeah, it was pretty visible. And some buildings you could see just had giant like metal brackets kind of punched into the side to keep it a little more rigid of a structure.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, you're right. That informed part of the reason why we wanted to go.
Makes sense.
Because it may not be there forever.
That makes sense. And then what kind of like I cannot think of the word I'm trying to, like, it's a historical place. What's the name of that? There's a name for a historical place. And I don't know what it is. Regardless, how many historical places did you see? There's a better word for it than that.
Many.
What did you see in Venice?
In Venice, there's
you can remember that.
The Doge's Palace was the biggest thing there.
Landmarks. Thank you. That's
the one.
That's one. There's the one. Thanks, you.
Chat. Doge's Palace was the biggest one. We were only in Venice for 2 days, and a good amount of that was spent eating and drinking and walking around. You can see so much of the city just from the outside. But Doge's Palace is pretty cool because it was basically the seat of Venetian government, and each room had like a specific use that you could kind of read into its design, and then also, there were of course plaques that would sort of tell you what it was. But there was a walking tour through the Doge's Palace, which was also connected to the jail because it was also seat of justice, law enforcement. So not only got to walk through the palace, which was fucking crazy.
I can imagine.
Frescoes and some of the biggest rooms in Europe, just wall to wall imagery of Venetian history, of course, told through a very glamorous lens. One of the little parts that stood out to me was in one of the rooms they had portraits of all the like aristocracy that had basically contributed to the formation of that body of government. And in one spot, instead of a portrait, was a black cloth, because that fucker actually tried to lead a rebellion. So instead, they executed him, but they also struck him from history. So instead of his portrait, he just has a black cloth that says, "We choose not to remember this human."
But I imagine some people remember him.
Maybe. There was no record of his name.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
that is so cool.
That dude is erased from history. Yeah, there was a a Latin phrase from it to not only kill somebody but also strike them from history. So that was pretty rad.
You know what that feels like to me is when somebody does something so wrong on the internet that basically you're trying to strike them from the internet, which is
like
practically
Rowling or whatever.
It's practically impossible.
Or Notch. You're like, where'd Minecraft come from? Who knows? God.
It's practically impossible to do that. And that's why I was asking, because I was like, I'm sure there are histories written about that person. There's no way they got rid of him fully from history.
Yeah.
Which is interesting just to think about. Because I was like, would I want to be somebody who did something so terrible? Like
blooper is canceled.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was funny.
That's funny as
So
shit.
terrible that I got struck from history. And I was like, is that better or worse? I feel like that's like the most notorious that you want. And I'd rather not be notorious. You know? I don't know. Regardless,
That's an interesting question.
I was just thinking, because you can't scrub things from the internet, just like you can't scrub things from history.
Yeah, the Streisand effect.
Except for the Dark Ages, nobody really knows what happened then.
Yeah, yeah. I guess if you actually burn down the Library of Alexandria, you can erase a lot of history.
Well, we can't do that anymore. That's impossible. So,
I wonder. I mean, Metal Gear Solid. As we all know, Metal Gear Solid 2.
I've never played it, but
dealt with this to a large extent.
Okay, all right.
How like infinite preservation of information can be a bad thing. So I don't know. That's an interesting notion.
I don't know that it can ever happen again in history. I'm not sure that unless all of humanity was wiped out. I don't know that there's a way. You know,
I could see it. Like, there are databases where you can just encrypt it and throw away the key, and then the data's gone.
And that's it forever. But
yeah,
I mean,
and you'd have to hit every backup and stuff like that.
Yeah, but every backup, every database, like that's what I'm like.
The right person inside Google could probably figure out how to do that.
Oh, maybe Google.
Oh yeah. I mean, Amazon, like if all of Amazon Web Services went down and took all of its data with it.
So it would have to be Amazon Web Services and Google all at the same time. Are we starting a heist movie? Is that what we're doing?
Maybe. There would probably be like distributed backups of that data all over the world.
Absolutely, they are.
But connecting them all again into one giant thing would be a challenge.
This was
that happened in Blade Runner.
This was something that also Mr. Robot touched on, but more of a financial thing, where they were like they wiped all debt. They were like, we'll wipe all debt, which I thought was a cool thing.
Oh, like Fight Club?
Yeah, same deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same.
That would work. Well, I mean, that's one of the things that the blockchain was supposed to prevent, is that you basically distribute encoded copies of the entire running log of the entire financial system to everybody in the world all the time.
Well, people have to buy into Bitcoin, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So right now there's only I imagine 10% of humanity's on Bitcoin. So
someone please hack my debt away. Dolly, if only. I wonder what the true ramification would be if all debt in the world were forgiven.
I don't know that we want to know that.
I don't either.
I think that there'd be a lot of problems. I'm not saying debt's good. It's just more of like, I don't know that everybody would be like, we forgive you.
Yeah, it wouldn't all be rainbows.
I don't think that would happen.
There'd be people on street corners giving away free fruit, and that's all we'd need to survive. It's just a basket full of plums.
It's exactly the opposite.
And you'd eat it, and it'd be great.
There's a lot of people that would have guns and loot. I think that would probably
would probably happen.
Yeah.
And if only you knew when it was going to happen, because you could just run up a crazy debt.
Again, by the way, I'm not saying that our current system is perfect.
18 cars made out of diamond.
I'm not saying that at all. I think it's great that Biden's trying to forgive a bunch of student debt and stuff like that. I think that's great.
Yeah. The outright predatory stuff.
But that said,
yeah,
if we did it all at once, it might be a real problem.
You mean all of college, Lawrence? Zing, got him. Right. Self high five for that
nice.
one.
That was a good one. All right, so sorry, back to your vacation.
Europeans don't have to pay for that shit.
They don't.
What the fuck is that, man?
I mean, I don't know.
Mainly, I guess because a better educated society produces a better standard of living for everybody. How weird.
Lawrence, how dare you? We all know the United States of America is the greatest country in the world.
And everyone here is so smart.
And don't you ever say otherwise.
Some people get paid to go to college because it makes them better workers and better people.
I know.
Oh!
Again, don't you dare. We would not have Google or Amazon or any of those other companies without our current system that's garbage. I'm sorry, that is great.
Absurdly low tax rate. I mean, yeah, we wouldn't have. Which country has the most billionaires?
Wait, do we? We do.
I don't need a fucking college education to count up to like 14
I'm pretty sure we have the most billionaires.
Which is the only thing that matters to me. How many billionaires there are.
Again, I'm being very sarcastic. I don't want anybody to think that I'm actually like, the United States is the greatest country in the world. And obviously, everything is perfect here, because it's not. There are lots of things that we can improve and fix.
See, this is what I should have gotten out of my system when I was like 21. Go to Europe and be like, Europe's so much better. And just like be that guy, the guy who went to Europe. I could have been that for like 2 years, dude.
I mean,
I lost out. Now it's just lame if I do it.
There's always China has the most billionaires?
Oh shit.
Well, that's because China.
Fuck, we're not even number one in
Because
that.
China's got the most people.
Blech.
Also, wait a minute. How does China have the most billionaires when they're a mainly communist country? I am confused.
Oh, the only communist one.
I am confused.
The only communist when like Tibet is involved.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Actually, that's the sad part.
It's like communism, but they also love money, so kind of works out.
Wait a minute.
How is it communist at all at this point?
Well,
I remember that shift kind of happening in the 90s when they were opening up because of all the money.
Hong Kong is not. Just factually, it is not. It is a capitalist city, and the Chinese and the federal government in China keeps trying to. Again, I'm totally speaking out of my ass. I've never been to China. I have no idea, but this is.
Well, I've been to Europe.
From what I've been. Well, that's not
I
China.
I know a thing or two about the world.
That's not China.
Oh, okay, yeah. Some people are saying it never actually was.
Well, yeah, and
that's why it's still around, I guess.
So I wonder, is it like a dictatorship? Oh wait, Vicinco says we got the richest billionaires.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
That's right, baby. Well, I mean, we have the.
Man, think about that. If you had $2 billion, you could make another billionaire just like that. You could just.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Jeff Bezos.
You know that
if you want America to be back in number one, you know what to do, and it's give Bruce and I $1 billion.
You know, just recently, Bezos just did this. He just, like, after he flew to space, he came back from space and he handed. Oh, what's the guy's name? Is it Van Richards from CNN? Jeff Bezos liked Van Richards from. He's basically a pundit on CNN, and he just, I think was it $100 million? He just gave him $100 million. He was like, here's $100 million. Here you go, and he just gave it to him, and it was like, do what you want with it. Give it to charity.
I respect that.
Start a company. Do whatever you want.
He should never be allowed to do that. He should never have the funds to be able to do that. But I'm glad that he did.
It blew my mind. And I don't even know that like Van Richards. There was one other person he gave it to as well.
Yeah. Where's my $100 million?
I mean, he doesn't appreciate your work. I mean, even though we are currently on his platform right now.
Yeah, we're earning him money.
We are earning him
kind of
tiny little pennies. Yes.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right. So
maybe once I become a billionaire from Twitch, that counts.
So, well, one day you'll get to Hassan levels.
Had so much food, dude.
Oh yeah. So where's the best food? Where's the best food? That's another good question.
It's. I mean, the first meal. Well, no, I take it back. Hold on. Let me think about this. I think the best meal I had might actually have been in Berlin. It was at a Japanese fusion place, which makes no sense, but there it was.
I've heard Berlin has great food.
It actually does. It has a really good. There's just so many different cultures that have moved to Berlin, and I don't know the history behind that. But also the best doner kebab I've ever had. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there was a recommendation from one of Stephanie's coworkers that lived in Berlin. Minor actually said, yes, I did have kebab in Berlin. It was transcendent, yes, which, I was also walking around the whole day. So that helped. But best Italian meal though, man.
Yeah, where was it? Venice, Rome. Where else did you go in Italy?
Florence. But only had like one meal in Florence, and that was just a giant slab of meat. Oh my god, so good. I think probably in Rome there was again recommended by some of Stephanie's coworkers who had lived in Rome for a while. And away from kind of the touristy areas, there was a pretty amazing meal and it was also one of the first. I feel like every time I go somewhere, the first meal I have there is like one of the most memorable.
Of course, yeah.
Just because it's all hitting you and it's all new.
Yeah.
But oh my god, that pasta is so thick and chewy.
So where?
It was I think it was called Taverna.
In what city?
Oh, in Rome. I'm sorry.
In Rome. Copy.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
On the there's kind of like the city center now is not where the city center used to be, and there's a river dividing the city. So the city center now is where a lot of the touristy areas are. We walked across the river, kind of the old seat of Rome, and that's where a lot of the more legit restaurants are. So went there, and oh my god, dude, that pasta's so good.
I don't know what makes it so good there.
It's the texture. It's just so dense and chewy.
I'm not at all educated on pasta. Number one, but number two, Italian food. Like in Italy, because I really don't know what the history is of it, and I just generally don't eat pasta or Italian food very often.
I guess that's true. So it's a lot of carb.
For me.
A lot of carb, a lot of sauce.
I did just have gluten-free pizza at BJ's, though.
That's basically...
I was going to say, that's basically just like Italian food, right?
Pizza. Yeah, except it was called like... the menu's called something else. It was like pinha. I don't know what that is. Pinha, dude. I didn't look it up at all, so I don't know what it is.
I don't know what that is.
But I've been to Europe, so...
All right, so you went to Rome, Venice, Florence. Warsaw, you were in for a few days.
Yeah.
Berlin at the end.
Mhm.
Let's see here. What was?
I was at Pinsa. Why do they do that?
Which city? Oh, which city was the easiest?
Don't they know how to spell a pizza?
Which city was the easiest to get around in? Which one? Which one do you have the most problems and the least problems?
So Berlin was probably the easiest just because the Uber app worked there. So it was able to bill through my credit card and all that.
Got it.
Hardest was probably Rome. I mean, it's a smallish city, so if you don't mind walking, it's pretty easy.
Mhm.
It's got like electric scooters, but all the roads are cobblestone, so bashing around on those things on a scooter can be a little tough. Also, Stephanie wasn't super used to them, so I didn't want to try to pressure her into taking them. But yeah, there's a separate taxi app for Rome that once I figured that out was a lot easier to get around. But yeah, Berlin has a really nice subway system that helps get around there. But yeah, easiest was probably Berlin just because I was able to use my credit card and call cars and stuff like that. It started getting pretty expensive, like dropping 10 to 15 euro just to get across town. But
right.
It's also it's a bit of a bigger town.
The conversion rate for euro to US is like, I think it's like 75 cents to the dollar, right? Or I'm sorry, a dollar to the 75 cents. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
So the euro,
right.
So when you spend euros, it's more than a dollar.
That's correct.
So the US dollar, you lose more when you go there.
Oh, you got to rent a tiny car in Italy and shout at everyone out the window. Yes. The cab driver we got from the airport to get to our first hotel did that basically. He was just bombing through Italian, like Roman streets, which are all crazy angles and they're all super narrow. He like leaned out the window and screamed at somebody once. It was fantastic.
In Italian, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, the dude, he had like cigarette burnout voice, so he sounded like Nick Nolte. It was kind of hard to tell what language he was talking in, but it was a good language for an Italian guy to lean out of a cab and scream at somebody out.
That's so cool.
It was pretty rad. Yeah, and I'm glad we didn't crash.
There are a lot of things that, like, when you go to New York, it's exactly like you imagine New York to be, because like you've seen New York in 1,000 movies, and you're like, "There's no way New York," and you go as soon as you arrive, it's exactly like that. Like almost every movie that's portrayed New York is exactly like New York, where people are yelling at each other and all you hear are honking horns. Cars are never moving. That's great. I love it.
It's so good. Yeah, you're exactly right. It's crazy. When I went to Japan, I immediately encountered so many things that if they were like in a TV show would be considered too stereotypical. Yeah. But it was just happening there, real. And I was like, oh shit. Same thing with Italy. Is like, yeah, I didn't see any of this, which is unfortunate. Oh, you did? I didn't see the Italian.
Did anybody do this?
No, unfortunately, I saw a flip off. So the powers of the West.
Yeah, like they did this, but none of this.
The cab driver, straight up middle fingered somebody, and I didn't see anyone giving me the Italian pinch, which was unfortunate. Yeah, I did see somebody talking on the phone, and they were like really getting into
gesturing with their hands,
stomping up and down the sidewalk and like throwing fists at the air and stuff. So cool. They were probably on hold with customer service. I mean, I do that now.
Gosh, I love that. I love that so much.
But yeah, I mean, we took a gondola. The dude at the gondola started singing, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" He wore the striped shirt, with a little hat, a little ribbon around it.
Well, that's what I mean. Again, that's what that is.
Yeah,
it happens. Again,
it's the Disneyland
movies all the time.
But
when I saw your pictures, I was like, "That's real." There he is in the Venice canals with the guy with a hat. I'm serious. That's what I thought. It was pretty wild.
But I think it's part of the theme park aspect of it. They know it's that. They lean into it. There's like stands where dudes, like 3 of them, just standing there waiting for you to hire a boat. Yeah. So he didn't sing When the Moon Hits the Sky. He did that. I don't know what song that is. I also don't know any of the Italian.
Canta no llore, I think it is.
Oh, Canta no llore.
I thought that was Spanish, but I could be wrong. Who knows? I am not the foremost expert on culture.
You haven't been to Europe.
I have many times, but
not in the last week.
But I've not been to Italy for sure. And I've always wanted to go. So that sounds amazing. Okay, what else? What other questions can I ask you? Where were the friendliest people?
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Damnatio memoriae is the Latin phrase for erasing someone from history. Fuck yes.
Okay, yeah.
Nicest people are probably in Venice, just because, again, I really did get the vibe that Venice is like a theme park. Okay. Everyone understands that, like, everyone here is a tourist, so we have to be extra nice to them, like make them feel welcome and stuff like that. Complete contrary to that was Berlin, which nobody was mean, but certainly very little effort was paid to like easing the day. You know what I mean?
I get you. Yeah.
And also, Stephanie and I look German, and our last names are German. So, yeah, people.
That's true.
we had to do a lot of, no, sorry, we're just dumb, ignorant Americans. We don't speak German.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then, yeah, just the city itself is like just a battered city. It's not really about,
Venice.
Yeah. It's not really, or sorry, Berlin is the battered city.
Oh, Berlin is the battered city.
Venice has had time, you know.
I've actually, that's interesting because I've heard that Berlin's like a beautiful city, but I mean,
like parts of it.
Okay.
There's some incredible street art. Some of the best street art I've ever seen is in Berlin,
cool.
Which is kind of what I was hoping for. So it really hit right. Just incredible murals, incredible, just like very like 90s hip hop style street art and stuff. Very, very cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they have sections of the Berlin Wall. They're all like kind of been reclaimed by artists and stuff like that. They have exhibitions for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it's just as a city, a lot of bad things have happened there. A lot of very bad things.
I mean, parts of Germany, absolutely. I mean, like Germany got bombed to hell in World War II.
Yeah, you can see bullet holes in some of the historical buildings and stuff.
I was just watching, again, not an expert on history, but I was just watching the show on Netflix called like not best World War II moments, but it was like, you know, biggest World War II moments. And it was like 13 episodes, and toward the end of that thing, people were so angry at Germany. They're just like, they were just bombing the shit out of it because they were so upset at what Germany had done. But again, it was Germany and Japan, and you know, regardless, they were very upset at that specific country, so they bombed the hell out of it. It basically applies to all of Europe. Absolutely, in World War II, most of Europe got leveled. So it's pretty wild to see the things that stood up. Because when we went to Gamescom, there's the Cologne Cathedral that had been there for like 1,500 years, and that didn't get bombed. So that's one of the only things that stood in Cologne that still exists. So Berlin, I would imagine, is probably like tiny little pieces of history, but then the rest of it's brand new.
Yeah,
so
that's entirely correct.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think part of the feeling of that, though, of like, and plus Berlin, you know, was separated as a city for a long time, only reintegrated in the late 80s. So there's that too. Like, not only was it bombed and knocked over, but also it was divided culturally for decades, and only recently, you know, on the world scale, has been reintegrated. So a lot of the artwork represents that. There's so many like symbols of unity and coming together and all that stuff in the city. But I do think that maybe part of the identity of that city carries a lot of that strife and division.
Yeah,
still,
absolutely.
That's kind of what I read into a lot of the street art too, is that it does feel like maybe a generation sort of claiming the city back and trying to make it their own.
Yeah.
Of like, we inherited all this garbage from previous generations. We inherited all the division and the destruction. So we're going to express ourselves through the remnants of that destruction.
That makes sense.
And in that way, it feels very like punk culture. How it is sort of like, it's not, you know, painting something nice on a canvas, it's painting something on a broken city wall, but it's your city, and it's what you got. So I think finding construction and destruction is a very cool punk sentiment that did make a lot of sense to me. But I think the ultimate summary of that was we did this like sightseeing tour. We found this place that rents out tiny little cars, just little. You sit in a tiny little car and you can drive around the streets of Berlin.
A singular person car?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, neat.
It's basically like a go-kart, but it has like a little hot rod shell. Just so tiny, it's so tiny and cute. Anyway, we did that, and then one of the gentlemen who was in our group, he was from another part of Germany, and we were just sort of chatting with him as we walked to the train station, and he summarized Berlin by saying it's interesting, but it's not nice. And I was like, that's
right.
Got it. Yeah. There's a lot of interesting here, but nobody goes out of their way to be nice.
Sure.
Not that they have to.
Yeah.
But it's different than like a touristy area where people are like, oh yes, we want your money. Come in. We'll be very nice to you and stuff like that. So
it sounds like Berlin just sort of operates on its own merits. And then if people show up and are tourists, then they are.
That's kind of it. There's a lot of history there, but they don't seem like they've felt the need to package it up as a product.
Right.
Like, you got to go and see it. I mean, they have memorials that are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But it doesn't have that Disneyland factor.
Yeah. Okay. So you went in, I guess that would be the fall for most of the places you went. What was the best weather? Where was the best weather you had? Which city you had the best?
For me, in Berlin, because it was hot as fuck in Italy.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was like walking around the whole time. So it was being out in the sun, and it was like humid. It was like, I mean, Celsius to Fahrenheit, whatever. But it was like in the upper 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's Fahrenheit, yeah.
In Rome, and just like balmy, sticky days, just covered in sweat all day.
Mm-hmm.
So in Berlin, it was like actually kind of cold, and that was really nice. It was nice to walk around in a hoodie and just, and also I didn't have many clothes, so it was nice to like not have to do laundry so often,
right?
Because I'm just
right
irritating my clothes with gunk.
Yeah. Okay, so Berlin was like mid 60s or 50s.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
With some wind. Ugh.
Yeah. Okay, and then Italy. What? You said 80?
Yeah,
80,
it
like
was toasty.
100%
It was like
humidity, probably.
Close to it, yeah. And it rained a couple times in Venice, which was pretty cool.
Cool.
All right. We left the windows open, and mosquitoes ate my ass alive. But I really wanted to hear the ocean, so it was worth it.
Wait, the ocean was where?
Well, I guess water. Isn't it around the ocean?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm asking you.
There was a lot of water. I didn't look at a map.
In where? Rome?
In Venice.
In Venice. Okay. All right.
So yeah, our hotel. Well, you can still see some of them. Also, look at that tan line, baby. That's good stuff.
You got the the farmer's tan.
Yeah. Oh, it's like bad on my legs. It looks like I'm wearing socks.
That's all right. You are an American tourist.
Yeah.
And everyone knows it.
Yes.
So as long as you weren't being a dick, which I know you guys weren't, then you were allowed to have a farmer's tan and be out there with your like the raccoon sunglass tan and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
That's
big old camera hanging from my neck.
That is part of being an American, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
You're allowed. They will take your money, and it's like as long as you're being friendly, you're good. All right, I'm trying to think. Well, what else can you tell us about it that you want to talk about? Now that I've asked you a bunch of questions, is there anything that I missed?
Let me see. I got on a really old boat called Hansa. I went up and down the river, kind of separating Berlin. That was neat. I drank a big ass beer and ate a kebab on a boat.
That sounds. I mean, all of this sounds amazing.
Yeah, that was good times. I went to the hotel that they filmed Casino Royale in, and
that's really. Did you see like do they have the tables, the gambling tables?
No, that was all set up for the movie. But the lobby looks ridiculous, and they serve a lot of martinis there because of course they do.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Just the interiors were great. Just saw Michelangelo's David.
Oh, I've always wanted to see that.
Which, until I went and saw it, did not consider that it was biblical David. Like David and Goliath David. Yeah. I just thought it was some dude named David.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's him.
Because he's got his sling behind his back. Yeah. So I thought he was just like holding an apple or something. I was like, he's about to eat.
He killed a giant.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he killed a giant.
But yeah, that never really connected with me. Also, that dude is jacked for being, 15?
Well, yeah. I don't know if we have the age of David from the Bible.
And he's got cake, man. That dude's got ass.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know if you see that from the front, but you got to see it from his back.
Oh, look, people are talking about his penis. Now, guys, again, he may have been...
He doesn't have a tiny wang. It's normal. He's got big balls, though.
He may have been a grower.
His nads were like outrageously big, oversized.
He could have been a grower, so we don't actually know. We didn't see David being erect. All right.
Maybe we should have.
And also,
he's 15.
Anybody that's out there killing giants with a sling,
15 years old,
probably was a grower. I'm going to be honest with you. He's got a little bit. Obviously he's got the confidence inside of him.
Well, and he had the tuft, which is weird. Like one of the things about David is that it's ridiculously anatomically correct for the time. But his pubic hair is just like a really clean little whipped cream dollop.
Did he? Was it trimmed?
It was styled.
Okay.
Looked like it had a little product and like a nice little blowout and a little comb.
Okay.
Just it had a lot of volume. Is what I'm saying. And oh yeah, so that's the ironic thing. Malcolm is asking how big was David? Very big, extremely big. David's very large because he was supposed to be on top of a church.
Oh.
So you're supposed to see him from really far away.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Ironically, David, the tiny guy who killed the giant, the Goliath. Is very large himself and also jacked. So it's an interesting kind of inversion there. I don't remember exactly who, but once Michelangelo had done it, they were so happy with it that they made it the mascot of Florence. So instead of putting it on a church, they left it in a square, like out in the open, exposed to the elements for centuries. And then they were like, maybe we shouldn't let birds shit on this all the time. So actually leads to a pretty fun story. So I guess they took a couple of years to figure out what to do with him, and then they decided, okay, let's move it to this. Let's create a museum and move him there. They moved him there. It took a long time, and when they got him to the museum, they realized there was no door big enough to get him into the museum. They didn't realize that until they got him there. So then they had to knock out one of the walls to move him in, and then kind of patch it back up. But I don't know. Something about that seems very Italian to me. Like, just get him there. We'll figure it out.
They made it, yeah. Then they transported, and they're like, "What the fuck?
Like, oh,
what are we gonna do?
We have to get him inside." Oh yeah, his proportions are all fucked up. Yeah. Well, his head's too big and his hands are too big. But I don't know. It's an anime. You know?
Well,
he's an anime.
He's carved the way I think people want to see him.
Want their 15-year-olds to look?
They want to see him that way, right? That makes sense.
There was someone else where there was like a I think it was one of the saints, but he had a really tiny head to make the rest of him look huge, and I'm like, you just made him look like a Gundam. That's it.
Yeah.
Make the head tiny. You look huge. You look like a fucking Fist of the North Star character. Also, I saw some sculptures of Hercules. Not that jacked. Not that jacked.
How dare you?
He's not that jacked, dude.
He's a demigod.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson now is more jacked than any marble statue from the 1600s.
How dare? Don't
find me a more jacked historical chiseling.
Well, Lawrence, I don't know if you know, but they did not have medical science that could produce steroids like they do now.
Steroids, Bruce? What are you talking about? Hold on, wait.
They didn't have the things that we could inject to make us perfect human beings.
No, I've seen not Calvin and Hobbes and Shaw. We saw their days perfectly. Dwayne gets up, he eats like 18 eggs, and then he goes and lifts chains for a little bit.
I mean, yeah, well, no, he does all those things, but then also...
And then he goes and eats a big stack of pancakes with his adorable little daughter.
He puts a little needle in his arm, or his leg, or his butt.
No, he puts a fork in his mouth because it's cheat day.
2 to 3 times a day that make him real big.
Oh, he injects egg yolks?
No.
Man, what if you could do that? What if egg yolks are steroids, Bruce? Think about it.
That's not what it is, guys. They're on steroids. Pretty much everybody that you know that is an action hero is on steroids. Just so you know.
Somebody posted a picture of Hugh Jackman from X-Men 1 a while ago, and I was like, he looks like a normal fit guy.
Like he probably did some workouts. And
got a little kind of looking all right. And then, man, him and the Wolverine, I'm just like, God damn, God bless.
I mean, also you. Not to credit all steroids, but he probably got better at working out.
Yeah.
And better at personal training and eating and all that other stuff. So he got better at training his body to look a specific way, in addition to the steroids. So, I'm not jealous at all. I could absolutely get the steroids if I wanted to. Just so you know, you can get that. You can get it from Mexico right now if you want. You can get HGH and all that other bullshit. You're good to go. But. If you don't want that, because it could do, well, you know what? Fuck it. No, steroids doesn't do that much harm to you.
It's all fine.
It's not all fine, but a lot of it's pretty okay. So I'm not saying do steroids, by the way, but I've always wanted to try it.
I mean, yeah, if you can just get swole just sitting there, why not?
That's what steroids are.
Also, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but having more muscle mass means and even when you're resting, you burn more calories because your body's got to like keep all those muscles going, right?
I think so, generally, yeah.
So isn't that won't it fundamentally improve your health if you take steroids and your muscles enter hypertrophy and then you're just sitting there burning more calories, right?
Look, I am not going to disagree with you. I don't know that in anything here.
Why don't we have the tech? We know how to do this. It could be a weight loss thing. You could get jacked just sitting there playing video games.
Like I said, I did not say steroids aren't bad for you. I did not say steroids are not bad for you.
Problem is you can't stop the steroids. Well, you can't stop working out either.
That's the thing. It's the cycle.
It's a lifestyle maintenance.
It's all about the cycle. So you have to cycle off of them eventually, and therein lies the problem. Therein lies the problem, guys. I would never recommend anybody do steroids.
You can't cycle off of fucking working out. I would like to do that. Like, hold on now. If you stop working out, you won't be jacked all the time. Like, yeah, no shit.
Well, you're supposed to. You're supposed to like take a week or something if you've been working out for a lot.
Really?
Yeah, generally.
Oh.
Don't kill yourself.
I thought that was the point.
Well, I mean, you can, but you're not supposed to destroy yourself every week. You're supposed to take some time off, rest.
I guess I did that, yeah. I'm excited to eat vegetables again.
Why? Because you only had steak and
basically,
pasta?
Yeah. Meat and bread and alcohol. Oh, and tiny coffees, tiny little coffees.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dude, the espresso is so good. I actually realized this is going to be a dumb realization, but it's pretty clear and pretty well said how like portion sizes are out of control in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that also applied to coffee.
Oh yeah, it applies to everything.
Yeah. So it was nice, like having really nice but smaller cups of coffee because it irritated my stomach way less. Instead of like slamming back 6 shitty diner coffees and feeling like crap all day.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Downsides of steroids can fuck with your stomach, skin layers. They can actually trigger weight gain in some people.
Yeah.
They're minor. Steroids
Absolutely.
are like reverse weed.
Yeah.
So if I do both, it cancels each other out.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, again, these are all like well-documented things. Steroids like a miracle drug and I'm not saying to use for getting better, or I'm sorry, for getting like ripped. It's more like steroids are better for like people that are sick. Because like my dad's been fighting cancer for years, and he takes a steroid every single day because it reduces inflammation and it helps. And there are very few side effects to those sorts of things. So I'm not. So that's why I'm not talking about steroids in the like go lift to get ripped sense. They're just they're good drugs. I mean, medical science again is a fucking miracle.
These are good drugs, Bruce.
It's a miracle that we can do the shit we've got. Really, honestly, people didn't have this stuff 100 years ago, 50 years ago. So, that said,
what if Wolverine got high? Would he be less jacked? Does that mean Wolverine was more high in X-Men 1 than he was in the Wolverine? If steroids and weed are opposites,
they're not.
Then he stopped smoking weed and started doing steroids.
They're not.
This is why X-Men 2 was best, because he was halfway in between.
X-Men 2
perfectly
was the best,
balanced,
actually.
like all things should be.
Unfortunately, it's a Bryan Singer film, but it was the best.
Yeah. Is he still in the game? Is he still getting work?
Do you know what happened to Bryan Singer? You don't know what happened.
He got canceled, right?
For terrific reasons, like real bad. He should never get work again.
He was jumping on the boys. Yeah, no bueno.
Spacey.
I just didn't like. Sometimes that shit happens and it kind of blows over. Joss Whedon got called out, but he still did Justice League. I guess he hasn't done a lot
that was
since
2017.
then.
So he had not been canceled by then.
Okay.
He was like on the way. Joss Whedon was a very slow cancellation. Because I remember reading things about him along the way and being like, "Uh-oh, this is bad. Uh-oh, I really like Joss Whedon. Uh-oh," and then eventually people were like, "He sucks," and I was like, "Confirmed." Then I won't. So, I mean, not honestly, he's not getting work anyways.
Was it build up?
Yeah, Joss Whedon's, but I think Bryan Singer was chopped in half.
Okay,
as well he should have been.
All right.
So he's gone now. You don't have to worry about that.
Whew.
I don't think that you were worried about Bryan Singer.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
he fell off pretty hard because he was still doing X-Men's, right?
He
did like Dark Phoenix and shit.
I think you're right. I think that was like the last film he had.
Superman Returns was pretty good, but
it was all right. That's fine.
I mean, and there's worse when it comes to Superman's.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. Just unfortunate the cancellations happen after they accumulate millions. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, and they're allowed to keep it all. What do you do though? Well, how do you claim to that money as being gotten while doing bad stuff?
I mean, yeah, there are lots of bad people that have not been canceled that are millionaires. So it's like, well, whatever.
We can only get one at a time. Bruce.
The internet can only focus on one person.
Yeah.
One person one day.
I mean, it's got to be a mind share issue, right? What if you've got a dynamite cancellation campaign ready to go, but somebody else is in the middle of getting canceled?
That's a good point.
You're like, I don't want to mess with. Like, let's just let them get canceled, and then I'll do my thing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So you got to wait until like the one for like Aziz Ansari blows over, and then by the way, he's back. He's back.
That was just like one kind of bad date.
That it was yeah.
Right?
Look, I don't necessarily disagree. There are lots of different schools of thought. Regardless, I think Aziz Ansari is back. Just like I believe Johnny Depp is back. I have been told that Johnny Depp is back.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's got to be back.
I have been told that he is back. Now, I'm not saying that he is. And I'm not saying that he wasn't right or wrong or whatever. I'm just saying I have been told by my chat, over and over, because I keep going, is Johnny Depp okay? And they go, yes, Johnny Depp is okay.
Oh, man.
They give me the big thumbs up.
Okay.
And I go, all right.
So speaking of Johnny Depp, though.
Amber Heard?
Yeah. I mean, Aquaman is a pretty sick movie, though.
Well, but Amber Heard is back for Aquaman 2. So
wait, for real?
I thought she was.
Nobody got canceled?
I don't think Amber Heard is canceled.
I'm pretty sure it's legally someone has to get canceled.
I am pretty sure
at least one person has to get canceled.
Guys, I don't think Amber Heard is canceled. I'm pretty sure she is in Aquaman 2. Right? Nothing happened to Amber Heard. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Weird.
This is, and by the way, I probably not the right decision, but I'm using chat as my moral compass for these because I'm always like, I mean, what is it?
Let's be real, Bruce. Does it really matter? We should all try to do the right thing. Don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah.
Like, what your privately held opinion on Amber Heard and her role in Aquaman 2?
It doesn't matter.
I don't know that anyone's calling you on the phone being like, Bruce.
Thank God they're not.
Amber Heard, Aquaman 2. What do you think? We need an answer right now.
Well,
You're like,
well, most of the time it's the worst cop out because I actually feel this way, which is I don't know because I don't know all the facts. Like it's like the people are like, you need to have an opinion on the Middle East, and I'm like, what? Like, are you kidding? Like that would take me years. No, I can't give you an opinion on that. But people are like, it's a cop out. And I'm like, all right, well, okay, I'm sorry. Regardless, yes, I don't want, obviously civilians to be killed anywhere in the world. So it's very hard.
What
for
about
me.
the bad ones, Bruce?
What do you mean the bad? There are no bad. What?
Sorry, we were just talking about one Bryan Singer.
Oh well, yes. We are again confirmed.
You don't want him to
Singer,
get drone stricken?
confirmed. I wouldn't mind that. No, hold on. Now, Bryan Singer, he's already been
I love
canceled.
penning you into like more.
He's
Many of these quotes are going to be a problem.
Bryan Singer's already been canceled. He's already. Hopefully, we'll never see him again. Just like Vasenko, we'll never see him again.
What?
I'm sorry, not Vasenko. What was I saying? Oh, Kevin Spacey.
There it is. Yeah, Vasenko just gifted some subs, so it gets in your brain.
I know. I saw
Streamer brain. You're like, ah.
Well, Vasenko, I know very, very well. He's got an emote in my chat. Regardless, we'll never see Kevin Spacey again. We'll never see Bryan Singer again. We'll never see. I'm trying to think of people we'll never see again. Right? There's other people that have absolutely been canceled. We'll never see again. Like I was surprised to see Louis C.K. back. He's doing stand up. He's back.
He's a comedian. The rules are different.
I guess the rules.
You direct an X-Men
Weinstein,
movie.
Yeah, we'll never see Weinstein. Ever
You got to
again.
be up here morally if you're directing X-Men's, but if you just talk about jerking off and that's your thing. Yeah,
Oh yeah, Michael Richards Michael Richards one of the first ones to get canceled. James Franco will probably. Oh, I don't know that we'll ever see James Franco again. You know about James Franco, right?
No.
Oh yeah, he's canceled.
No, really?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh man.
He's what's interesting about James Franco is that he was called out for grooming, and sort of has been along the way, and now his co-stars are being like, nope,
Oh.
we don't want anything to do with him.
Like basically no one's confirming, but people are very loudly not coming to defend him at all, kind of thing.
Well, and actually, like Seth Rogen, people are like, no, I'm not working with him. I haven't for years. Regardless, I don't know that we'll see James Franco probably ever again. But people like Drake, not from Drake and Josh, but Drake, the rapper, the musician, we're some grooming around that stuff there too. And
Well, musicians again, Bruce is like musicians are basically
Drake
comedians.
seems to be fun.
It's for his art, Bruce. It's for art. You can't really say anything because it's art.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that one.
I'm being facetious, by the way.
Oh, I good.
I just
yeah.
want to clarify. Oh, somebody said, what's the difference between canceling and people voting with their wallet? Canceling seems to involve campaigns to get people to close business relationships with you. So if you get canceled, people are going to lobby the people you work with, the companies you work with, kind of inform them about this and try to make it clear to them that this relationship will be toxic to their future. Whereas voting with your wallet is just quietly not going and seeing a thing.
Well, I mean, for me, voting with my wallet, again, for me personally, is Michael Jackson. I'm not going to support that. I'm not going to support what I feel is terrible in 20 years of, child abuse and things like that. But a lot of other people are like, no, he was the best, and I will never think a bad thing of Michael Jackson, so I will continue to support him, and I will not. That's just for me. That's just my opinion.
That gets double weird when the person's dead.
It's especially weird, but again, to me, I see it as there were so many years of this person doing terrible things, but then also being, what's the word?
A delightful entertainer?
Getting rich from it.
That's and he gave us Moonwalker, Bruce. That's got to count for something.
No.
When it comes to doing
doesn't.
stuff with kids, it actually doesn't.
It doesn't. That's the thing. And so, but a lot of people feel the way you do. I know you're being sarcastic, but a lot of people, the way feel, they say that. They're like,
yeah.
Well, no, he was a great entertainer. Separate the art from the artist. And I'm like, no, not in this case. So...
that's an age-old moral dilemma. It's like Nazi science. Do you use it? Even though it can improve people's lives now, but it was obtained in the most horrible of ways. So are you honoring those ways by using it now, even though you can do good with it? And then there's no mathematic way to determine morality, so you're kind of opening a Pandora's box there. Yeah.
And again, Strider, people are like, yeah, they hate Michael Jackson, they still listen to and love his music. For me, it just boils down to the fact that I don't want to pay for it. I'm not gonna give anybody money for this because of all the victims that he's left in his wake.
Oh my God. Cam says he should have just beat it.
Nice. He should have just beat it. You're not wrong. Kazooie also asked a great question, which is, what about entire companies like the whole Blizzard thing? This is a great question.
Good transition there.
Yeah, well, this is a great question because I've been thinking about this for weeks. And I actually even tweeted a better ABK because I was like, "What do you guys think?" And they didn't respond. Either way, I think what it's going to boil down to for me is tomorrow I'm going to stream Diablo, probably for a couple hours.
Does it come out tomorrow?
It does, yeah. And I'm going to set up a charity for Black Girls Code.
Oh, there you go.
And then hopefully people will donate to Black Girls Code, watch Diablo. Ideally, people.
Bruce.
Oh yeah.
Should we play Diablo together?
Can we?
It's Diablo
co-op, right? Right.
You better not tell me you can't play this fucking thing online.
All right, Lawrence, you and I are in. Then let's do it.
Hardcore characters.
Here's the
right from the get-go.
I'm not good at it.
It doesn't matter. Okay. It's Diablo, dude. Right. Nobody's good at it. People just play it for like 6,000 hours and then they get I got the ultimate drop on a sword. I'm good at Diablo now.
I just want to make sure that I can, because last time I tried to play Diablo was Diablo 4. Well, they were like, let's all play together, and then the servers didn't work. So so hopefully it'll work.
Diablo 2, hardcore characters. You go down, I go down, I go down, you go down. That's how it goes.
I'll do it, but I'm not good at it.
Yes.
Okay.
No, it's fine. Right. We can roll characters. That'd be good. All right. Well, one of us can be a paladin. We can have an aura.
What I'll do is I'll set up a Tiltify and I'll send it to you.
Sick.
And then you and I
wait. What happens tomorrow? Oh shit! I'm going to a concert tomorrow.
No, tomorrow's Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going tomorrow too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You're a busy boy. You're a real busy boy.
Plans get made for me.
Did I mean Diablo 3? I meant Diablo 3. Yeah, you're right.
Before
either way, that was basically the last time I ever was like, I can't wait to play a Blizzard game, and it was broken. So I was like, never again. Either way, that's sort of one of the solution I have settled on. But I'd like to hear your opinion.
I mean, yeah, this situation is really complicated because yes, as Minor Tom says, Diablo 2 was mostly redone by Vicarious Visions. I think that's the only reason it's shipping, because it wasn't trying to be made by Blizzard. So when it comes to supporting that, like ostensibly Vicarious Visions wasn't one of the problematic parts of Blizzard Entertainment. Because that's what most of the lawsuits are about, is about Blizzard Entertainment specifically. So it's tough because by boycotting that product, you are not specifically staying away from the product that was produced by the culture you want to express rebellion against. But by buying that product, you are funneling money into that company that was created by those things and into the C-suite of executives that ostensibly knew about all these things and didn't do anything about it. It's tough. It's tough because the kind of, I feel like the catch-all is that those kinds of things can be and are probably happening at most companies that your money is going to.
Yeah.
And just being aware of it, it's not going to change. I don't know. It's easy to just go into like, it doesn't matter. Into that mindset. I think the good news is that at least the state of California was on the ball, and they have the power to do something about it at scale, whereas an individual does not. I don't think that means that excuses an individual from trying to behave in a moral manner, but I think it takes a lot of the weight off. I think an individual can make a difference in things like consuming less plastic. Like, you buy one less plastic bottle, and that's one less plastic bottle in the world.
Yeah, that's good.
Sort of. I guess it was already manufactured.
No, but it helps. I mean, like, it's supply and demand. That's what capitalism is. So if a lot of people are buying less water bottles, they're going to make less. That's just the way it goes. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about an entertainment product that runs on a machine that its electricity generates carbon in the world. So it would save the earth more if you just turn your PC off and walked outside. So there's always something more you can do. And because of that, and actually this is a moral, Bruce, I think we might have this in common. I remember when I was growing up in the church, they would message a lot about how you have to do these things for the Lord. You have to tell other people about it. You have to praise the Lord. And anytime you're not praising the Lord, well, that's maybe not so great. So try to find ways to praise the Lord more is what we're saying. And so I was like, do I get any time for myself? Like, when am I allowed to be a person that isn't devoted to Lord? And the answer was never. It's always about Lord.
Wow, really?
So for myself, and one of the first things I had to decide was I have to give myself permission to not think about Jesus all the time, because I'll go crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad church to grow up in.
You grew up in Texas, though, so that makes sense. California was different, by the way.
There's not a whole lot going on in Texas except for Jesus. So at some point, and I feel like this sometimes goes back to, or this also connects back to what you were saying earlier about how people demanding that you have a position on things. It's okay to like take things one at a time. It's okay to make a subjective call sometimes. I think the situation's tricky because it's certainly in our interest to make, like, we have a bias. It would be great to decide it's fine to play a fun video game, and then we get to play a fun video game.
Oh, sure, yeah. But, well, let me put it this way, just to clear the air on that. I don't give a fuck. I'll play whatever tomorrow. It doesn't matter to me. People have been asking me. They're like, hey, are you going to play Diablo? And I was like, I don't know. So it really wasn't like, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get more money and viewers. It's like, no, it's not going to matter. I'm just going to stream whatever. So Diablo could be, I could take it or leave it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. It's tough. It's really just down to you're an individual at that point to make a decision. And the tough thing about that is that means that nobody can really tell anyone else that they're wrong because it is a subjective call to make. I mean, you can, but guess what? Then I can just be like, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's I think to some degree all Western developers kind of have that issue about how they treat women. Yeah. And to some degree, all American companies, United States companies. That's not to excuse anything, but it is something that, everyone has to reckon with. And it's one of those things where you can't really apply like math to it. I love morality being mathematical. Man, it makes it so easy.
Everybody loves that. We love black and white.
Yeah.
Humans love black and white because it's really easy to say like bad and good, like World War II. Like Hitler bad, everybody else good. Very easy. Yeah. But boy, nothing is like that.
So, well, I guess my curiosity then is, were you confronted with that sort of notion in the church that like no amount of time you could devote to God was enough, so you had to figure out your own balance?
Great question. No. I think, again, I grew up in California churches, so like whether or not they were Baptist or Presbyterian or whatever, Lutheran, I think we were probably a little more loose here, a little more liberal than, which is weird to say about a church, but truly, it truly is that the case. So it wasn't nearly as like, we were definitely devoted to God. That was always the thing, like you should be praying and like, all of your friendships should be healthy and above board and like all that's good stuff. Like, don't do drugs, don't have sex, all the usual shit. But I don't know that there was ever anybody being like, you must be constantly thinking about and praising the Lord at all times. I'm not sure that was ever a thing. I think that if that was ever in that context, people would say, live your life devoted to God, but it wasn't have your mind always focused on it. So, and what that means is make good moral choices is really what it comes down to. And then of course, as you get older, you realize, hey, you don't need the church for morality. You can just be a good person.
Yeah.
And sometimes the church helps people be good people. Sometimes. But that was something I learned as I got older. People were like, you don't need God to be good. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. So I was lucky. I did not grow up in that style of Southern Baptist. Was it Baptist?
Well, they would say that they weren't, but yes, it was Southern Baptist.
I mean, absolutely. That's like...
It's one of the more conservative parts of it. Somebody mentioned that there's scriptures in the Bible that say literally not to do that. Yes. A significant part of... this clip is crazy. Oh, shit.
I haven't seen this.
Oh, what? Oh,
my gosh.
It's basically real life Battlefield. It's like a plane spiraling down with like one. Anyway, it's like a clip from people who are skydiving.
What happened?
Two planes collide, and then everybody falls out of it like a Pringles can.
But they all had parachutes.
Yeah, they all had parachutes, but one dude has like a GoPro on his helmet, so you get to see first person, two planes like wrecking and people all flying out. Oh, look at them all. I hope nobody died. Oh, they all lived. Oh, praise God. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. Sorry.
Not that he was involved.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
I don't remember where I was going with that. Just like I think, in related to all of this, morality is. I think this is a situation where morality is very hard to make binary.
Yeah.
And certainly, like you said, people are drawn to that. I mean, great figures really like demonizing entire groups of people because, like World War II, it makes conflict very easy to buy into.
Correct. Yeah.
But yeah, in this circumstance, I don't know. I think you just gotta figure it out yourself. Oh, that was it. Bruce, somebody in your chat had an interesting statement.
Okay.
And I see this get circulated a lot on social media. Lussell writes that corporations love to offload their responsibilities, mostly environmental, onto its consumers. Don't let them. The top 100 companies produce more waste and such than all individual humans do. I agree.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But
makes sense.
I am not empowered as an individual to not let a company do something. That's the rules of the market that are out of my hands. Right. What I can do is vote for politicians and governing bodies that will enforce those things at scale. So,
and you can also not support the companies.
Yes. Yeah, so you can do both. Yeah. You can vote a certain way, and then you can live your life in a way to also not encourage those practices. So what bugs me a little, bugs me sometimes about that statement, and I'm not saying you were saying this, Russell, but I feel like sometimes it's implied, is that you can give yourself permission to not take any action as an individual until another larger body takes it for you. I'm not 100% on board with that myself. I believe pretty strongly in personal action in addition to large scale action, but that's just me. I always hear the counterpoint of that statement, even if it's not being said. So that's me mostly reacting to the unsaid part of it.
That's what you're saying, yeah.
But
I think that's totally valid. And for me, the thing that I've spoken with...
Les will follow it up. When BP says you need to do more, that's bullshit. It absolutely is. Yeah, recycling as a campaign is a whole made up thing. I mean, some people recycle, but it was entirely to ease consumers' minds about overconsumption.
I also... I think, man, I had something I was going to say about this, which a lot of the times people will say, I am so upset by something and there's nothing I can do. And the answer really is there is something you can do, and it's give it your time. And what I mean by that is you can actually write letters or emails or call your congressman or your senators, or you can even start campaigns and start change.org petitions. There are things you can do. If you really are upset about a cause and you really want to help, push it one way or the other, that's kind of the cool thing about being in a democracy run by social media, is that there are things you can do now more than ever, in my opinion, to try and upset the balance of what you think is bad or good. And I don't, I don't necessarily think that you're going to succeed every time, but at least you can try. And I think that to me is the best, is that you're just out there trying. That's important. Because I can't stand the sentence, there's nothing I can do. It's just not true. It's just factually not true. You can go out there and try. And if you tried and you failed, it happens. But at least you tried. So that's just my personal philosophy.
You're right.
You saying there's nothing I can do and giving up, you're never going to change anything that way. So literally never. Anyways,
I think the sobering thing is that if you are in that state and you're like, I'm going to go do something, I think you'll find that like part of that process of actually getting up and doing something is very humbling, because it involves you to recognize that you're one of billions of people on this planet, and you can push in a direction. There's a lot of other people pushing in all sorts of other directions. So it does require, I think, recognizing that problems can be very big, and an individual is not maybe so big. Can be. There are big people that have big voices, and they inspire a lot of people to do a lot of things. And if maybe that's what you're hoping to be, then that can be a little bit of maybe a tough mindset to work with. I think that might be what it is there's nothing I can do. When I hear that, I feel like it's part of that, but I guess when I feel that way, I should make it more personal. When I feel that way, it's that I want to be that person.
Yeah.
I want to be that person to get my sword and go out and stab it to death. There. I killed racism today. And it would feel great to as a person be able to take a task and fix it. But yeah, the real world is so messy and slow and complicated, and there's so many people, and they all have a right to live a certain way and decide for themselves things, and you have to respect those things. So you have to find a solution that works for a lot of people, and that takes a lot of work.
It really does. A lot.
It can be a lot for a very small amount of movement in the world. So
but you could be the beginning of a movement. That's something too, that like there's, if somebody's never done the thing that you're doing, and for example, you try and fail, in a few years' time, somebody could go back to you and be like, whoa, this person actually tried. And like that motivates them. I don't know. There are lots of cool things that could happen in the what if MCU.
You're right.
I don't know. That's
was that a segue, Bruce?
To protecting your internet traffic?
I think it might be. Or consuming media on the internet, hot new series that may not be available in your area.
Oh, you know what you do? NordVPN. We're sponsored by NordVPN. Oh, that's my thing. Well, hold on. Let me get rid of that. Make sure that bang, there we go. We're sponsored by NordVPN for this podcast. That's the reason we're making it. They are paying for it. So please, if you want to protect your internet traffic, go to nordvpn.com/talk2internet. nordvpn.com/talk2internet. Right now you can get a 2-year plan for $3.18 a month. So you get you save 73% and it's 4 months free. $3.18 a month. It's $89 for the first 2 years. If you go to nordvpn.com/talk2internet. Now, if you don't know what a VPN is, a VPN, like Lawrence just said, not only can you reroute your internet traffic through another server in the world and say, hey, I'm actually in the UK, and then watch Netflix region lock stuff that's for the UK or for maybe Berlin or Venice. Where were you? Where you were? Did you happen to use that at all? Probably not.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't have time.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it also protects your internet traffic. So if you don't want your internet traffic going through your local ISP or whatever, you can proxy it through a bunch of different servers here in the US or lots of other places. NordVPN has 5,200 servers in 60 countries. So you can find a server near you for better speed if you're worried about that for VPN, or in a faraway location, like we said, for more content. You can use it on up to 6 devices: Windows, Android, iOS, macOS, Linux, Android TV, like Lawrence has at home, which I love mentioning because I don't know that anybody has, except for the NVIDIA. What is it? The Shield?
Shield TV.
Shield TV.
Yeah, baby.
Still don't even really know what that is. There's also double VPN for extra protection if you're worried about that sort of thing. I would imagine if you are a super spy and you need to protect all of your data, you can encrypt it through NordVPN's double VPN servers.
Encrypt it once. Encrypt it.
And then,
Like,
and then
not enough.
there's a double VPN.
Hit it again. Double encrypted.
It's also really easy to use if you've ever installed a VPN on your machine. NordVPN is there's literally a power button. You just click it once and that's it. If you want to get into the settings and change the servers, you can, but it's just a one click. It's really simple. And from what I have seen, it really does not slow down your speed that much. I remember I was having to use this a lot when I was trying to figure out if my Spectrum was having a bad connection or whatever. So I would use the VPN to see if it was Spectrum, if it was other IPs. It turns out obviously it was Spectrum, but the speed did not change for NordVPN. So and of course you can play different games from different regions. You can watch Netflix or whatever else from different regions. And this was something I also used, unfortunately, to avoid DDoS attacks, which happened to me. So you can absolutely use a VPN to avoid DDoS attacks if that's something that happens to you. Go to nordvpn.com/talk2internet. Again, they are the reason we are making the podcast today. So we want to say thank you very much to NordVPN for sponsoring us, as always.
Thank you, Nord.
Thank you, Nord. We appreciate it very much. All right, back to the podcast. We've talked about religion.
Yeah.
We've talked about
Love it. I always pick out big topics. That's
science.
just where I go, I
Steroids.
guess.
We talked about steroids.
Science.
And we talked about your vacation. What else would you like to talk about, Lawrence?
Oh, man.
Is there anything that
I mean, Aquaman was sick. I watched it on the plane.
you hadn't seen it yet?
No, I did. Well, sort of. I fell asleep like halfway through it, then I watched it again. Then I don't know. I was like, I'm gonna watch Star Wars, and then I watched Force Awakens, and I was like, yeah, Force Awakens.
Not a bad film.
Sick movie. Sets up a lot. Then I put on Last Jedi, and I was like, man, this movie sucks.
Last Jedi's bad.
Yeah, it's just all right. So Bruce, here's the checkmate. Here's the ultimate checkmate. No one can say Last Jedi is good after this. Ready?
All right, yeah.
All right, they're at the end. First of all, the entire movie is kind of lecturing about how they're not going to be like Star Wars, and then they literally remake Empire in the last act. Let's forget about that for a second. It's got walkers. It looks like snow. It's fucking everything. Anyway, it even plays the same fucking music, dude. All right, so they get in their little skiers, which look kind of neat, I guess.
Those are cool, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of neat.
The cinematography of Last Jedi is great.
It is great.
I think it's fantastic.
There's some amazing shots for sure. All right, and then the First Order has their big laser. The big laser, Bruce. They got to shoot this big laser.
Are you talking about in Force Awakens?
No, this is Last Jedi at the end.
What's the big laser in Last Jedi?
I mean, it's the one to knock down the door when they go to that planet to hide for a little bit.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, they got a big laser, and then they got to go out on these little skiffs to shoot down that big laser.
Yes.
All right, so everyone's like, we can't do it. We got to leave. And then, Poe learns his lesson. He's like, we can't be heroes. We got to be smart about this.
Uh-huh.
This is also weird, but whatever. So everyone leaves, and then Finn just keeps going straight. He's going towards that laser. He's like, I got to do it. I got to be a hero.
Maybe one of the worst things in that movie. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's horrible.
It doesn't make any sense.
But logistically, okay, so everyone's going back. Finn's going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Some dialogue happens. Still, Finn going forward, everyone going back.
Mm-hmm.
More dialogue. Again, Finn he's out there. He's alone now.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere,
Rose, right?
Rose,
yeah.
who was going back this whole time, is there and bonks into him.
That's right. To make sure that he doesn't kill himself.
Right. And then everyone stopped shooting right then.
That's right.
No reason.
Made sure.
Because like there's a guy who's like behind he's like, whoa! Something dramatic just happened.
They love each other.
Whoa! Hold on! Stop! And then Luke shows up in his hologram or whatever. This is pretty cool, and he does this weird little flip.
Let me ask you this. Hold on. Was the reason they stopped shooting because they saw Luke? No,
that was before Luke showed up.
Because I can't remember
they just stopped.
How fast that transition.
The big laser was about to shoot, so I guess they were like, "Let's just stop shooting."
All right, got it.
All right, and then Luke does his thing or whatever, and then Finn shows up back at the base, dragging Rose. So he dragged her body all the way across the salt
while Kylo and Luke were fighting.
Yeah,
we assume.
Well, and also there was a lot of gunfire there too because Kylo wanted to shoot Luke.
They were all on Luke, yeah.
So Finn ostensibly was dragging Rose's unconscious body back to the base.
That's right.
While all this gunfire happened, he was untouched.
You're right. They didn't show that.
And he just showed up back at the base dragging a corpse.
They could have just shot an insert of that.
And you're like, or something.
Yeah,
just to remind you that they're there, remind you of the stakes.
Just anything. I mean, that's not even the worst. For me, that's not even the worst part.
Checkmate.
The worst part of the movie is it's Canto Bight. The whole casino planet,
it doesn't matter.
Means literally nothing.
I thought the point of Last Jedi was trying to be like, the Force makes people fight, so maybe we should stop caring about the Force. But then it was like, nah, never mind. The Force is good again. Here's here's another one. Here's another checkmate. If that checkmate wasn't checkmate enough for you, here's a checkmate. All right. So when we get to Luke's planet and Luke's all like grumpy, he drinks his titty milk, which I actually liked. I thought
that's hilarious.
And then the weird thing looks there. I was like, great.
Mark Hamill actually he pulls that off very well.
He does.
Yeah.
But then, so he gets his titty milk, and then he's like, now it's time to go get a fish. And he walks to a cliff, and he takes his big old cliff pole, and he pole vaults across the cliff to a narrow ridge on the other side. Then he pulls up his 60-foot pole vault pole. There's a spike on the end of it.
Right.
We see the spike go back into the water. The next shot is Luke with a 20-pound fish on his back, walking.
All right.
So he stabbed a fish, pulled his 60-pound pole all the way up to him, pulled the fish off, threw it on his back, put the pole all the way back down in the water, and pole vaulted onto the other side of the cliff again.
So, hold on. Was it, in this point of the movie, was he not using the Force?
He was not using the Force.
Even though he probably used the Force to get that fish up, right?
I guess he could have done that, but then why did he pole vault to the other side of the cliff? He could have just stabbed the fish from where he was and forced the fish up.
Great question. I don't know.
Why did he do that?
So,
checkmate.
This is something that I have noticed about bad movies is that because I saw Last Jedi, I think I saw it twice, and the more that I thought about it, the more it was bad. And so I was like, I will no longer think about the film because I know it will not stand up to any amount of criticism or critical thinking. And this is something that I realized more and more about bad movies is that when I saw Fast and Furious 9. And I was like,
that movie sucked, man.
It really was bad. And I kept.
Remember when Vin got knocked into that room? And he shut the door and he's like, I'm going to hold him off. And then there were chains that he just and he pulled him down.
Yes.
But then he popped out of the room. He's like, and I guess he was a little hurt.
That movie was and that was the same thing where I was thinking about it as it's happening.
Yeah.
But. So maybe that's just bad filmmakers because even though was it Justin Lin or who made that?
It was Justin Lin. James Wan is the good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Justin Lin's not a bad filmmaker, so that's why I was confused. Either way, I saw Shang-Chi. I've seen Shang-Chi twice. And have you seen Shang-Chi yet?
Not yet.
Oh, it's great. It's so great. Oh my gosh.
I'm excited.
I saw it once, really liked it, and I was like, maybe I'm biased. I love Marvel movies. Maybe I'm biased. And so I when I came home, I was like, Autumn, it's pretty good. Do you want to see it? And she's like, yeah, you know what? Sure. We went and saw it, and she walked out, and she was like, what a great movie. And I was like, all right, perfect, good. I'm not crazy. And the movie moves so well, and you really don't think too much about it. So thankfully, you can't think about how bad something is, or how something doesn't add up. It's just well paced. And that's, to me, is the difference, is that one movie you don't think about. From one to the next, there's just enough to get you logically to the next scene. Whereas Fast and Furious 9, Last Jedi, there's a couple of things you're like, wait, what? How did that happen? And then they move on. And you're like, no. Give me it one shot, or a one-line explainer. It's anything to explain it away. That's the thing that, because I will forgive movies forever and ever. Rise of Skywalker is the same way, where I was forgiving it for half the movie. Somehow Palpatine returned, and I'm like, okay, no problem. Let's fine. Let's just keep going. And then halfway through, I was like, nope, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I can't forgive you anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
I think I was bought in until Chewbacca almost exploded. And I was like, nah, sorry.
Yeah,
that one didn't work. We're out. I'm off the train. Also, okay. And I hate to keep derailing. One of these days we won't derail about Star Wars, but who were Rey's actual parents by the end of Rise of Skywalker? Because I don't remember.
Well, wasn't it a clone or something of?
She was a clone?
No, it wasn't. She was not. I thought she was the child of a clone of Palpatine.
Oh.
Right? Am I wrong?
They say no one in Last Jedi, but that got retconned, I think.
Rey's parents were it definitely got retconned.
Friends made along the way. You almost
oh yeah.
Palpatine's clone and woman.
That's what I thought. I thought that Palpatine's clone.
So Palpatine's
left or something,
just wasn't up to anything?
Right. Palpatine's clone was like, I will not be part of a bad thing.
I will fuck and drop my... Why did he drop his daughter off on a desert planet?
Because maybe he knew that he had powers or something. I don't know. Whatever.
He had Palpa powers, and he thought it would be a better idea if I just abandoned my child instead of raise it.
I don't think plot holes necessarily make a bad movie. I can still find enjoyment from a movie overall, even when the plot and such is just outrageous. Absolutely. An example would be Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah, as I was watching it, I recognized how stupid it was, but I still enjoyed the movie for other reasons. Same with me.
There have to be other reasons, though. There has to be something else.
Well, there has to be something else. And when the things that move the plot along are not explained.
He had no powers, which is why Palpatine hated him.
Wait, what? But Rey had powers. How's that possible? Either way, Crystal, I agree. Godzilla vs. Kong was a fun film. I went and saw it in theaters.
Yeah,
and it was fun.
That movie ruled.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it didn't like tease out any of the kaiju over the entire film. Why did they all do that? Like they were like, oh, you can't show them Godzilla too early.
I know.
Well, just to have something break, and then you'll just see a tail like slithering into the ocean. You're like, oh my God, Godzilla.
I'm trying to build tension.
But fuck it. I already paid for the ticket. You don't have to like convince me to watch it. I came to see Godzilla knock shit over.
That's true. You're not wrong.
Maybe it's a budget thing. I don't know.
That is also absolutely. It builds tension and it's a budget thing for sure.
I want to be in the room with the writer who's like, and then we won't show Godzilla.
Well, again, they probably wrote a bunch of action scenes with Godzilla and they're like, we only have $100 million.
Okay.
We can't make this one. Sorry, this one scene's going to have to be cut. But either way, that's a movie that I was like, let's just not think about it too much. I enjoyed it and I will never think about it again. And then if somebody asks me, I'll be like, that was a fun movie. I won't say it's good. I will say it's fun. Because it was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. But I should never, ever say that it was a good movie. I don't know.
I contend it was a good movie.
Okay, all right.
Because it was trying to be a big, dumb, fun movie, and it was that very well.
There you go. Yeah, because it's intention.
Yeah. If I tend to judge things if they realize intention, and that's a bit interpretive because it can be hard to see what the intention of something is. But I think it's pretty clear when something knows exactly what it wants to be and it lands exactly where it wants to go. I think that speaks to expertise in craft.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. They were being chased by a person hunting Rey down for Palpatine, so they left her on some shitty planet hoping she wouldn't be found.
All right. Sure. All right. I'm fine with that. And by the way, the movie may have communicated that. I just don't remember it. I only saw it once, so. I just, from what I remember, I thought that that's what it was. But
So what's the last movie you saw that nailed its intention like that? Latest was probably Green Knight.
I haven't seen it.
I feel like that movie is exactly what it wanted to be. A whole wall of death. Fuck yeah.
What is this?
I think it's from a concert.
Is this a mosh pit?
Unless it's just people. One dude with a beer. Let's see. Before I always think of Kingsman, the first Kingsman film.
It's a good movie.
It's a very good movie, and like it's. What I love about it is there's that opening like swoop when Money for Nothing, like the guitar riff from Money for Nothing is playing. Mm-hmm. and like just the pace of that shot and like the gunfire you hear from the building and the way that first scene plays out tells you the tone of the entire movie immediately.
It does, yeah.
And the rest of it is just like a playful escalation on top of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The first Kingsman really is a good movie. It's totally worth watching. The next one, it was
the next one was confusing.
It was confusing and barely okay. Because I saw another trailer for another Kingsman film, and I was
there's like a prequel now.
I may have been lost on the Kingsman now, but who knows?
It almost feels like the second Kingsman movie was the opposite of Godzilla Effect, where he wrote a movie and they were like, guess what? You get 2 more action sequences. And he was like, I do?
I don't need them. Yeah.
Okay. Something with a car door and a whip. I mean, it was pretty rad in the end, but it was just bizarrely unfocused.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a season of TV compressed into a movie as opposed to a movie.
Oh, that's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, I would not disagree. Okay.
Speed Racer might be the ultimate of like, this movie's exactly what it wants to be, but that doesn't mean everyone's going to like it.
I loved it. And I remember when I walked out of that movie, I was like, this is a good movie. And then I went and told people about it, and then they were like, that's trash. And I was like, all right, well, I guess it's bad.
Racer trash.
I liked it. But it was wild. It's just like a wild film.
It's anime.
It's absolutely
anime
live action.
Fuck.
It's live action anime.
It's the only good live action anime.
And what I've noticed is that recently there's been an upswelling for Speed Racer. People are always like, man, this movie's actually pretty cool.
I think it's cult status. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got an interesting following behind it. And I was surprised to see that people liked it now, because I liked it then, and I thought it was cool. But maybe I was also
people weren't ready for it.
Maybe I was a Wachowski slut. Maybe I really liked Wachowski.
Oh, I am.
Because I couldn't stand whatever it was, Sense8.
Sense8, yeah. I need to give that another stop.
I hated that show, but
I need to give that another try.
But Wachowski films, even like Reloaded. When I first walked out of Reloaded, I was like very apologetic for it. But people were like, "This was bad and this was bad." I was like, "No." It meant everything. And then the more I watched, I was like, oh, it's not very
damn
good.
it.
I know. Stupid.
You were right.
Yeah, Cloud Atlas. I like Cloud Atlas too. I read the book, so that helped. But I don't know. That's a good example.
Captain Zverga, which we remember how to say, mentioned that David Lynch, David Lynch's films are exactly what he wants.
Yeah, you're right.
Doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's going to like it, but that's not the point.
Correct.
Wait.
Jupiter Ascending was trash. Yes.
That's wrong? I thought, man.
Uh-oh.
I thought it was very good. I mean, Sweden.
Wait, what is it? Yeah.
Hold on.
Are you going to look it up?
We're going to fucking do this shit again. It's fine.
Oh, wait, no, he said, okay, now you said it better.
Oh, okay. I got closer.
I just call him Captain.
That's the easier one,
Just to make sure. I'm a Dave Filoni slut. Seeing everyone get into Clone Wars is super exciting for me. Yeah, I am. Nathan, I'm the opposite of a Dave Filoni slut.
Really?
I think Dave Filoni is seems like a great guy. Really understands Star Wars, and I can't stand the story he tells. Can't stand him. I think the only reason Mandalorian... Which
ones are like Filoni stories?
Well, Clone Wars is all Filoni. I mean, he beginning to end. It's same with Bad Batch. If you watch all of it, and I've watched all of it, by the way. I watched Bad Batch. I watched Clone Wars. I think he was also had a hand in Rebels and Resistance, which I've watched all of. But just not crazy about it. Just not my thing. Like some of it's great. Some of it's like, whoa, this is so cool. And then others just like, what is it for a 5-year-old? And so what I've heard is interesting, which maybe is true, is that the trashy garbage in the Clone Wars, like for 5-year-olds, was George Lucas. Because George Lucas and Dave Filoni have been working together for years. And George Lucas would probably go to Dave and go, hey, you got to put in a 4-episode arc about a mini general and droids, which, by the way, happens in Clone Wars. And Dave Filoni's like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make this? But he makes it. I don't know if that's actually true, but it may be, because George Lucas is kind of crazy. He's crazy as like a genius is crazy, but he's crazy.
It's I find it strange, and this is sort of an observation that I talked with you about, but it seems weird to me that all of Lucas's input seems to be guiding Star Wars more to like a goofy, more innocent, kind of childish sort of output.
He wants a childish, absolutely.
That doesn't bother me.
No,
it's just that's weird because A New Hope is pretty metal, and that's the first one he did.
Yeah,
arguably the most involved with. Maybe?
Well, no. A lot of people say he was the least involved with it. So and they say this because his producer Gary Kurtz and his editor, who was wife at the time, Marshall Lucas, they got together, like not behind George's back, but they're like, George, whatever you shot here ain't gonna work. So we're gonna cut it down to something that will actually work.
Okay.
So he had the bones of a great story, and then his producers and obviously the chemistry of the cast, and then Marshall Lucas absolutely put it all together. It's funny. I'm glad you brought that up because I just read an article about Marshall Lucas.
Yeah.
Have you read it recently?
Well,
see it?
I just saw the social media one-liner about how she thinks the postquels are garbage.
Well, she was talking about.
She's correct.
She's talking about Kathleen Kennedy because she was like, Kathleen's a great producer. She's terrific at this, but the stuff that she's producing for Star Wars is not at all Star Wars. And I was like, if anybody would know, it'd be Marshall Lucas, who established the tone for all of these films. So, and I 100% will take her word over, like some other pundit, because again, she put the film together. She put A New Hope together. And I'm happy with ripping on Kathleen Kennedy because I think she's been a terrific producer for a very long time. I don't know that she's necessarily a visionary. I don't know that she's a story visionary for what they're doing for Star Wars. And so she's sort of been promoted up. She's gone up the ladder as time has gone on because Kathleen Kennedy's been doing big work for a very long time. Produced a lot of, I think it was like Indiana Jones and like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's wild to see her name on a bunch of older stuff.
Yeah,
like, hey, I know her.
No, I mean, she was a good producer. I don't think she's a visionary. I think Filoni and Favreau are currently the visionaries of Star Wars and should continue to be.
Oh, dude, you want to hear something terrible?
Yeah,
just the worst. So of the many things I threw on in the background while I was on the plane, I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark again.
Oh yeah,
which movie came out in '81, and the movie's set in like the 1930s. Okay, here's what really hurts. We are as far from Raiders coming out as Raiders was from the time period it takes place in.
Yeah, you're right.
Just turning into a skeleton, not just skeleton. Hit the floor.
Yeah, right.
So if they made an Indiana Jones now, it would be about some turd in the 80s going around trying to like find artifacts and shit.
Yeah. Oh, they're making an Indiana Jones right now. You know that, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They're making a fifth. God bless. Never stop. Never stop. I want it to be a blobby, weird-looking CG Harrison Ford. Never stop making those movies. Never. I don't care how bad they are.
James Mangold is he was the director of Logan, who directed. He's now directing Indiana Jones 5, and I love James Mangold because people have been shitting on him for like the stuff that they're like set photos are leaking of Indiana Jones, and he looks like a haggard old man in his costume, which he is he's a very old man, and people are like shitting on Mangold for it, and Mangold's like literally replying to people directly, being like, you don't know what you've not even seen the movie. Like, you have no idea what the context is, so shut the fuck up. It's great.
There's going to be a lot of people who will not be able to stand anything like that aging. Because like they connect it with their childhood, I think, and it's very scary to have those things visibly age. It makes you confront your own mortality, which is what we go to movies to not do.
It's true.
Sometimes, depending on the film.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right about that. If you want to get away, then it's not the way to do it.
Oh, we did Ford v Ferrari. Man, that movie's amazing.
Oh, I haven't seen it, and I know I'd love it. I have to watch it. I'm sure I'd love it.
Quality shit. Also, Matt Damon and Christian Bale, just excellent actors.
They're the best. Yeah.
So good to see them together. I hadn't seen a really good Matt Damon flick in a while, so it was good to see him like really nail a really good character.
Yeah, no, they're the best. Isn't there going to be a Machine Games Indiana Jones game? I thought there was a Todd Howard.
No, it's Machine Games.
Oh, so Todd Howard's not involved with the.
No, Todd Howard's Bethesda. Machine Games is a different.
Well, yeah, because I had heard that Howard had been wanting to make an Indiana Jones game for 15 years now. And so now, or like 12 years or whatever it was, because
imagine most developers that were born in the 80s probably want to make an Indiana Jones game.
You can see the influence in Skyrim because a lot of the Skyrim stuff is absolutely Indiana Jones.
Oh, and like when you're going around in the dungeons and
you
stuff,
like pull something and
sink plates go down.
But I thought that maybe he had been involved. Maybe not.
I mean, might have been involved with like getting the rights to it. And who knows? Maybe he's sending emails. Maybe he's sending emails every day telling Machine Games what they need to put in there. But oh man, I'm so excited. Machine Games already made a pretty good Nazi busting game, so several of them. So
that's true. I'm looking forward to it.
Too many good games, man. Too many.
I was just going to talk
Tales
about how
upset
I am about every video game being delayed, Lawrence. And I think we should be.
Never mind. There aren't any games.
I think we should be angry at every video game developer that is delaying every video game.
Let's do it.
Man, am I mad about it.
Let's both say that crunch shouldn't exist, but also get really pissed off when people on the internet probably don't do that at the same time, but we will. So yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
Lawrence, how else am I going to play Battlefield in October?
I'm going to play Battlefield.
Huh?
Where's my Battlefield?
How else am I going to stream Battlefield? This isn't fair to me.
It's not fair to you, Bruce. You depend on this. This is your livelihood. Dice should come over and apologize to your kids.
Me personally. My kid, I don't have a kid.
You guys don't get to go to college because we're not releasing Battlefield.
No, I was just thinking about that today. I was like, man, I hope have we moved past as a video game culture, like being upset about delays? Let's not be upset about it.
It seems like it. Most people
let's move past it. Who gives a shit?
I think by and large, everyone on the internet's been way more chill about that lately.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck? Like, let's move past it. COVID was massive for everybody. So it's pushing everything back. We know that. So just let them have it for a year or two. And then even within a year or two, if things keep getting delayed, play another video game. Like, fuck. Who cares? I don't know. It's just that. So hopefully we move past. I feel like we have moved past it as a culture.
We have. I mean, I was just reflecting on that recently, how the internet in general has become, by my perspective, a fair amount nicer in the last 5 to 6 years.
That's good.
It feels like, again, one-sided perspective, but it feels like to me people have stopped using the internet as a place where they can just throw on a mask and be shitty. And there does seem to be this sort of communal understanding that, no, we all spend time on the internet now. It's part of our world, and we have to sort of like, we have to maintain it a little bit. We can't just go on here and spew emotional garbage as like a release, because it is part of people's worlds, and that's the same thing.
Right.
I don't know. It really feels like, I mean, comment sections in general have just become a lot less toxic, I feel like. So yeah, also, Captain is correct. Final Fantasy XIV gets more popular, and suddenly the internet is nicer.
Coincidence?
They're certainly correlated. That's all I can say.
Lawrence, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I will absolutely disagree with you when it comes to specific things that I've seen. I've seen a lot more vitriol on the internet recently, maybe because of me personally seeing where it is. But I hope as a culture we are getting nicer and moving towards less anonymity on the internet. So like when you're being a dick, at least you're being a dick with your name attached. You know, I hope that that's what we're getting to. But I still see a bunch of, whether or not they're bots or whatever, just a fucking, clearly it's just somebody, a troublemaker on Twitter, who all they do is reply and be a dick. So that's for me. But I'm not saying that you're wrong.
So those people are out there for sure. If they are an actual thinking, living human being, I guess maybe I've embraced the power of muting and blocking a lot more.
Sure, yeah. I have a funny story. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, that's it.
Okay.
Or if they are a bot, it's just so much easier to tell.
Yeah.
It's like the 18 numbers on the end of a name. You click on their profile, it's just a string of @replies that all say the same shit. Like, I don't know. It feels like it's easier now to suss out genuine human interactions from the noise than it used to be.
I would agree with that for sure. For me, I'm on Twitter and other platforms. Generally, I don't block or mute because maybe this is naive of me, but I like to think that people have something educational to say, even if it's couched in negativity. It's naive of me because it happens a lot. However, on YouTube, I have absolutely started shadow banning people because they don't know. So it's great. Because they're shadow banned. Now, what I've also noticed, another interesting side effect of this is, and this is something that I always suspected, but I wasn't sure of, and now I'm pretty much confirmed, is not only is YouTube one of the worst platforms ever in terms of comments, people are just shitty, but when you shadow ban somebody, they don't know. So they can comment and they won't get thumbs up or whatever, and nobody will see it. But it's a shadow ban. Every time I put up a video on my channel, Inside Games, channels that I've been moderating the last year or two, I'm noticing that all of the comments at the beginning, like every time a video goes live, they're always negative. And the reason I know is because they're shadow banned. So it'll say like 3 comments, 4 comments, whatever, when a video comes out, but there's no comments to be seen. So it's somebody who is negative for every video. So this is somebody who is literally on a crusade, or a bot, that is out there just to be a dick. And I've kind of always suspected this, but I haven't always known. And this is confirming what I suspected in the first place, is that they're shadow banned. Nobody can see what their comments, but I see that a video has four comments, whatever. and they are not shown.
Yeah.
And I see dislikes on a video that nobody could have watched because it's only been 3 minutes or whatever. But they're out there just to be there. Very interesting.
Or they're bots.
Well,
Or
they're
it's
bots,
like they have their account has suspicious activity, so their comments are being held in a moderation queue or something.
Somebody said, Fredo said it has to be bots, Bruce. No, it doesn't.
There are some people that are truly that pathetic.
Yeah.
Which is sad. I know, and sometimes that hurts me too, is seeing people behave like that, just spewing negativity all the time. I choose to believe, and again, this is my naivety.
Yeah.
I choose to believe that they're just using this as stress relief, or they're just shitty people.
Sure, yeah.
And to some degree, I would rather they leave a stupid comment on a YouTube video than like be shitty to the cashier at 7-Eleven.
Sure, why not?
So at least I can just ban them, and then their garbage energy just goes nowhere. So yeah, there's an axiom that keeps coming back to me, and it sucks, but people are allowed to be assholes. Like, you can't outlaw being an asshole, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and as long as there are people, there are going to be assholes.
That's right.
So I don't know. I used to think it'd be possible to reach everybody and shine a rainbow of energy and light to the world. No, man. Some people, they're just here to have a bad time and drag everybody down with them.
And they also probably don't do it for their entire life. They're probably just in a bad space, and they're in a bad way for a year or two, or maybe 6 months, whatever. And they're just out there shitting on people because it makes them feel better. And I don't think anybody does that their entire life. Boy, that's hard to do, to hate for your whole life. So I don't know. That's a good way to end the podcast.
It is. Yeah,
we've spoken for way over 90 minutes now,
and everyone's been so nice. The internet. Everyone in both chats has
our
been so
chats
wonderful.
This is one of the reasons I moved to Twitch, because fucking people on Twitch are so cool.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
They're so nice.
There's something about the direct interactivity, I think, that I don't know. People used to use YouTube comment sections as their like emotional dumpster. They just dump all their negativity in there. And it was almost like seen as sport. Like, what's the best rip I can come up with for this video? I think to some degree too, when you deal in like maybe negative leaning comedy, that's how people feel like they want to join in. Is like, we're insulting these things. Okay, well, I'll insult this video in a playful way. But oh, it gets so exhausting after a while.
It does. It really does. So thank you again, Twitch.
Yeah,
for being great. And you know what? People watching on YouTube, because I'm gonna put this on YouTube too. People watching on YouTube that leave nice comments or like, hey, or some whatever constructive criticism. Thank you very much for doing that. We appreciate it. We appreciate you being a normal human being that acts like another human being to other human beings. We appreciate that.
No,
I really do. Like every day that I see that, I'm like, thank you. Big thumbs up to you. Which is why I'll give you a little heart or something in the comments, because I'm like, you know what? I appreciate that. So
wear it with pride.
Lawrence, what are you streaming later?
I'm hoping to crack into Tales of Arise.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's Weeby Wednesday.
Oh yeah, that's right. It is.
Yay!
Now that Lawrence is officially back.
Yeah. We'll see. It depends. We got some projects. We did that Deathloop video, which is really cool to have a direct sponsorship with Bethesda.
Yeah.
We have a few more coming up. So I got to put in some research on that. But seems like the timelines might be loose enough to get in some other video game playing. So we'll see.
Cool. That's great. I don't. It's either gonna. I'm trying to decide if it's gonna be Deathloop, or might just be Deathloop. Might be, or Gas Station Simulator, which by the way you should play. It's really good.
Oh, I love gas stations.
It's actually very fun and stupid.
Okay.
I think you might really enjoy it. So it'll be Deathloop or Gas Station Simulator. I gotta grind Deathloop a little more and get some better drops for stuff that we're making. So anyways, when are you streaming? What time?
Ooh, depends. What time is it now?
It is
Sheesh.
3 p.m. Pacific time.
Maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
Hey, if jet lag grabs me, it'll grab me.
Oh yeah,
and that'll be that. I'm not gonna like fight through it because maybe that'll be for an interesting stream. I do have the power of G Fuel on my side, which by the way was invaluable. They have like a hydration mix that just is like an energy drink, or sorry, like a.
It's not caffeine.
No, it's not caffeinated, but it has like, it's got all the minerals that gamers crave. But it was invaluable for like walking around sweaty days and stuff to stay hydrated. Yeah. It actually super helped. And also drinking. Like it really does replace what drinking takes out of you. So I was able to just like be sipping on wine all day, walking around in the sun. Electrolytes. That's
what plants crave, guys.
That's what plants love. And I'm a gamer plant. So it kept me moving across over the whole vacation. That's my little sponsor plug, hashtag ad. But don't know where I was going with that. Oh yeah. So if I pass out, then
whatever
then
happens. It happens.
I'm really behind on sleep, so
Yeah, you gotta get some sleep.
got to make it to sundown. But also, there's anime.
There is a lot of anime.
I'm thinking about anime right
All right.
now.
Well, it sounds like Lawrence, maybe anime will motivate him. So thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Talk to the Internet. Again, thank you to NordVPN who sponsored the podcast and enabled it for us to produce this. So we'll talk to you hopefully in a few hours. Probably both of us will be on. So
Yeah.
all right. See you later.
Bye, y'all.